Good morning, Steph. Beautiful
Good
Sunday
morning.
morning. The London grey is back. How's it going?
Yeah, it is overcast central in London right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, good mate. I've been telling you about my hits in Pokemon, which isn't
yeah.
a story for today, but
We've
yeah,
been, we've been lamenting the TCG world, haven't we, mate? If anyone likes that stuff.
big beaming smile on my face with two absolute golden hits in the latest Pokemon set. But yeah, doing well, mate. Doing well. How are you?
Yep, good. Not so happy about Pokemon cards at the moment, but that's a story for another day. Not like we
Sure.
spent half an hour before this call ranting
Exactly.
about it.
Yeah. A side pub
But all
chat
good.
video maybe coming up, but
Yeah,
yeah.
all good, all good. Life goes on. It's I'm waiting for it to get colder. I don't know about you. I'm like, I actually want it to get cold now.
Yeah, bought a bit of winter wear recently, and
Mm.
yeah, every time I wear it, like if I'm on a train going to London, I'm like actually boiling. So it's a bit,
A bit
yeah,
odd.
we don't really get the colds perhaps that maybe some of you out do in the States or Canada, whoever's watching, but
Yeah,
yeah, we just
good
get
point.
crappy, shitty, torrential light rain basically. And
Talking about shitty torrential or just shitty in general. What are we talking about today, Steph? We're talking about the strikers in the league.
yeah,
Focus.
just I mean, well, I think there's a striker talk's a big one. You know, we've done quite
Mm,
a few videos on Santi Jimenez. We've done videos on the need for a centre forward,
yeah,
all of which will probably be part of this conversation. But we can't ignore the fact that there is a lack of quality or lack of conversion, if you want to call it, in the league. Because I mean, if you just, I think we're so fixated on Milan, aren't we? And
yeah.
the need for a number nine. We're not really looking around and going, it's not that
There's
much better off in the rest of the league, is it?
no. It's actually. I would argue we're quite well placed, as I think you'll touch on in a moment, in terms of like goal per game ratio. But yeah, in terms of the kind of focus that I think it's Bonnie. You said is the only striker with more than 3 goals. He's on 4. Is that correct? Actual strike. We're
Yeah.
not thinking. We're not talking about at the moment Hakan and Orsolini have got more. They're not strikers. We're talking about strikers. That's the focus here. Your strikers should, at least in most teams, be scoring the most number of goals. And in fact, every team that has an out and out number 9, their striker's not the most scored player in the league. There's literally none.
Yeah.
Hoyland's got 2, Luca's got 1. Obviously, Jimenez and Nkunku have 0 for us. Evan Ferguson 0. You got Dovbit's got 2. Kristovic has got 2. Skamaka's got 1. Vlahovic has got 3. David's 1. Openda 0. And Morata 0. I mean, the reason why I'm saying all these players because it's not a Milan problem. This is a league problem.
Yeah.
And we know the Serie A is a particularly hard league for players to score goals. It's not like Bundesliga or Premier League, which Premier League is obviously harder, but it's easy to score goals. I think that's a fact. We don't often get 35 plus a goal strikers. You know, that's why Higuain's and Immobile's of the past were so incredibly amazing. But at the same time, we should be getting a couple players on 20 odd goals. At the moment, that's not looking like the case. Like, it's really poor. What are your thoughts, just generally, on the league?
Yeah, there's a couple of players where strikers who are on 4, like they're kind of more Serie A perennial strikers. I mean, Castro, obviously Bologna have really increased their form recently. So Castro on 4,
True.
Pinamonti on 4 for Sassuolo, or Simeone on 4 for Torino. But like, these are players that probably finish around sort of 10 to 15 goals across the year, given they have a good year. At their respective clubs. But back to your point, what you typically expect is a team in the top 6 to be having a striker that's spearheading their chances of doing well in the league. And
I would say a couple, really.
Yeah. Well, Inter look well balanced, I will have to say, with most goals scored. The fact that Martinez is on 4, Hakan's on 5, Bonnie's on 4, Thuram's on, I think, 3 or 2. They have got that spread, which is certainly something that we probably need to look to be able to challenge in the league this year, because it's clear as day, Pulisic and Leao, who are leading the lines with 4 goals apiece. We need more in that department. But yeah, if you look at the other sides, I mean, Juventus have Vlahovic on 3. I think even after that, it's like Yildiz on 2. So they're not scoring enough goals. Let alone the fact that the stories like Jonathan David and I forgot the other player they signed from Openda. Yeah, like woeful signings. Napoli with Lukaku out leaves a gaping hole. Hoyland, who we were linked to, hasn't really set the world alight for Napoli. So the fact that Victor Anguissa and De Bruyne are their top goal scorers,
they're not strikers.
effectively,
It's madness.
So it is a bit of an interesting, and in Roma as well. You mentioned Dovbyk, Dybala, and Sule won't.
Have got more.
Yeah, which they're put in a more of a striker position formation. When they played against us, they played them as the two spearhead strikers against us. But back to your point, the number 9s in the league, they're not kicking on back to the days where, I'm not going to go way back, but like even when we had like Immobile and Vlahovic a couple of years back as well, banging in 20+ goals.
Higuain for me, like across three big teams really, Juve, Napoli, and Milan.
Exactly. So yeah, it does leaves a question on, if we are going to sign someone in January, it probably won't come from the league, will it?
It can't do. I don't understand how it can.
Or the Vlahovic,
Yes, but he's not leaving in January. I would highly doubt that. And we are all on the same page about Vlahovic. I think most listening now probably would have happy to see him. He actually seems like Juve's better players, which is kind of crazy. Maybe he's playing for the contract. Who knows? But yeah, I don't think it can come from the league. I mean, from what we've evidenced, A, what's out there that we realistically could get, and B, none of them are playing very well. Which kind of opens a lot of questions, doesn't it, Steph? Like, where do we get this player from?
Well, big rumours on Lewandowski, isn't there? And whether that's more of a summer story, I'm not too sure. I think for ourselves, kind of going a little bit more back into Milan, what do we do in January? It's clear as day that Santi Jimenez might be on the chopping block there. But then if you get rid of him, then you've got to make a move to bring someone in. And does that kind of contradict going for Lewandowski in the summer? Or do we pull that forward? Yeah, that's quite an interesting story because I would be a huge fan of Lewandowski coming in, just the same way as there is we just mentioned a lack of quality in strikers, and Serie A is a league where older players can do really well. He wouldn't be the only one that's in the league of that age. With Modric, De Bruyne, Dzeko, but Lewandowski is still playing at a fantastic level of football right now, scoring lots of goals, and I think he would just suit this league perfectly. So give us your opinion if you think that's a good deal or not. But yeah, I think other than that, and you go around the rest of Europe and who we were linked to in the summer, players like, whether it be Højlund, who's gone to Napoli and not set the world alight, whether it be Jonathan David, who's gone to Juventus and done sweet FA, other strikers who we were linked to as well. Conrad Harder, 0 goals this year. Victor Boniface, 0 goals this year. I'm sure there's a few other strikers I'm missing, but none of the linked strikers that we were going after. I'm not saying they were amazing either, because there weren't any that were, we have to sign him, other than the fact there was probably Boniface at a time before the injury bit came out. We're not really looking back to the summer with regret for the players we didn't sign, but perhaps there is a little bit entangled with the Nkunku and the Santi Jimenez situation is going to be one, I think, over the next, where are we now, sort of mid-November, over the next 6 weeks, if they don't step it up and give us something a little bit more, time's ticking for those two players, isn't it?
Yeah, massively. I think, not that I listen to Carlo Pedagatti that much, to be honest. I think he's a bit of an old geriatric, bless him, but I do. He did make a good point recently on this subject as well, which was around our like spending, like the amount we spend. So Jimenez has been a flop, like we can't deny that. And Nkunku, jury's out, but it's leaning towards that at the moment. But he's on a permanent, again, like Jimenez, on a largest contract from a Milan perspective. You add those two fees together, you're close to 70 mil euros. When you enter that sort of price range in one player, which we know we're not going to do, that's where we can maybe start actually signing a better striker, i.e., I don't know who that is. Again, there is a bit of a glut generally, even unless you're paying your 100 mils for the Isaacs and whatnot. I appreciate that. But let's just say there was a player we could get. Fine. Maybe even Osimhen, for example, if you look at the overall package.
Yeah.
Why?